From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 4:27 here on our Wednesday morning. We have several stories to talk about today before we get into the show. So let's start looking a little bit broader statewide. We're talking about Governor Holcomb's big announcement yesterday that they are working to improve diversity and inclusion in the state of Indiana. So that comes with a new Chief Officer of Equity and Inclusion and Opportunity. That person will report to the governor and work to improve equality in the workplace. We also learned big news that every frontline state trooper will have a body camera by next spring. This was a request and demand that many had made, and so that is going to be happening by next spring. They're also going to be reviewing police training for state officers. So we're going to break down a little bit more from the governor's announcement, the response from the candidate running against Governor Holcomb in the upcoming election, and more about what this means for the state of Indiana. So we'll have that coming up for you right here on Good Morning Indiana. But taking a closer look in downtown, we also learned from Mayor Joe Hogsett that he's working with Downtown Indy Inc. and they're going to be working on some new initiatives to help kind of revitalize and rebound the downtown area that's been hit really hard by the pandemic, all of the unrest and riots over the past few months. So they're going to be looking at ways to help boost the economy, help improve public safety, to make people feel more comfortable coming downtown and supporting local businesses. And he's going to be providing some more details on this plan at 11 a.m. this morning. So of course here at WRTV, we're going to be keeping you updated. Let's take a turn right now to our forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by from home right now. Todd, it has been a great week. We know yesterday morning, quite a wet commute for a lot of drivers around central Indiana. Right now, things seem to be very quiet.
Yeah, they are. You know, that rain went through yesterday morning, Lauren, as you mentioned, and then the afternoon was absolutely beautiful. And we're carrying the afternoon weather over into today's forecast. As you walk out the door here this morning, it is pretty cool. Temperatures are in the 50s in most locations, holding on to 60 degrees in Indianapolis, but likely to fall back down into the 50s as well. As cool as 54 to the north in Kokomo, as well as Logansport. So it's a cool morning, but nothing but sunshine in the forecast. Means an absolutely terrific day for everybody, as our high temperatures will eventually get up to right around 80 degrees. So make sure you get out there and enjoy this nice weather. It's going to stick around. There's a bit of a warming trend heading into the weekend. More on that coming up in just a little bit, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's talk about IPS and students heading back to school for remote learning entirely today. Alyssa Donovan is giving us kind of a behind-the-scenes look of what that looks like for the teachers who are connecting with your students virtually. We'll have that story plus more news, weather, and traffic to start your Wednesday right here on Good Morning Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Well, it's official. Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee for president. Now at 4:30, a recap of night 2 of the Democratic National Convention. Today, community leaders will discuss plans to help the Circle City rebound as the pandemic continues. This morning, we'll have a preview of the new initiative from Mayor Joe Hogsett and Downtown Indy Inc. And a local group is bridging the gap between consumers and black businesses. Working for You, how the organization is helping to keep the Buy Black movement going. But before we get to those top stories, we want to thank you for joining our team here on this Wednesday on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by from home right now. And Todd, hopefully people have some time to get out and enjoy the great weather we're having this week.
You know, I encourage you to get out and enjoy, especially today and also tomorrow, Lauren. The temperatures in the afternoon hours are going to be a little bit cooler before we kind of build back into that summer August heat as we work our way towards the tail end of our 7-day planning forecast, which I'll show you in Maine weather in just a little bit. First things first, though, let's get you out the door on this Wednesday morning. And the conditions are absolutely perfect. There's the view from downtown from IMS. 60 degrees in Indy, but look at some of these temperatures when you get outside of Indianapolis. 55 right now in Peru, 59 in Bloomington, Muncie at 56 degrees. Skies are completely clear across the area. No rain, no clouds, and what that means for you is sunshine straight across the board here this morning, and temperatures will climb pretty steady throughout the day. 71 degrees by 11 a.m. with high temperatures today close to 80 degrees. We'll talk about the rest of today and look ahead as I mentioned, to that warming trend coming our way in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you are heading out on the roads, maybe early this morning to work. This is a live look down on the southwest side right now, I-465 near Man Road. You can see all lanes are open. Traffic is moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No issues on this side of town to slow down your commute this morning. Here at 4:32, Joe Biden officially became the Democratic presidential nominee during day 2 of the DNC. Democrats are now hard at work to show that he can appeal to a large tent of supporters. ABC's Inez de la Cotera is in Washington now with the latest.
Very much.
Former Vice President Joe Biden officially becoming the Democratic nominee for president, with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, by his side, closing out the second night of a virtual DNC.
The heart of this nation still beats with kindness and courage. That's the soul of America Joe Biden is fighting for now.
From former President Bill Clinton.
The difference is stark. You know what Donald Trump will do with 4 more years? Blame, bully, and belittle. And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
To the 17 rising star Democrats that spoke in lieu of a traditional keynote address. Democrats working hard to show that the party is united and calling members of all groups and ages to get out and vote.
I've been doing this for a long time, so let me just be plain. Black people, especially black women, are the backbone of this party. And if we don't show up, Democrats don't get elected.
For a second night, the party also making a point to feature Republicans, like former George W. Bush Secretary of State Colin Powell, who threw his support behind Biden.
Our country needs a commander-in-chief who takes care of our troops in the same way he would his own family.
And Cindy McCain speaking in a touching video about Biden's friendship with her late husband, Republican Senator John McCain.
They would just sit and joke. It was like a comedy show sometimes to watch the two of them.
Meanwhile, President Trump trying to distract attention from the Democrats out on the stump in critical swing states.
This election that we're going into is the most important election in the history of our country. Because we had crooked Hillary, but this is something, these people are sick.
Tonight, it'll be former President Barack Obama's turn to speak. A spokesperson tells ABC News he plans to warn that democracy itself is on the line and outline why Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris have the character and experience needed to lead America out of the COVID-19 crisis. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, Washington.
At 4:34, one of Biden's 2020 challengers, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, appeared during the virtual roll call to voice his support for Joe Biden. In his endorsement, Buttigieg described his city's revitalization. He said, with Biden as president, our state could lead the nation's economic recovery from the pandemic.
The Hoosier State is ready to lead America's recovery with our diverse communities, our talented workers, and our best-in-the-world agriculture. Joe Biden's plan gives us a blueprint to revitalize industrial cities and rural areas alike.
The roll call included representatives from 57 states and territories. Speakers included teachers, small business owners, essential workers, and others. At 4:35, back here at home, Governor Eric Holcomb announcing plans to tackle racial injustice in our state. The plan includes a new Chief Officer of Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity. That position will be dedicated to working with state agencies to improve equality in the workplace and with the government services. The Equity Officer will report to Governor Holcomb. Now, he said every frontline state trooper will wear a body camera by next spring and also proposed a review of state police training.
I will direct a third-party, top-down review of our state police and law enforcement academy curriculum and training. This can confirm good practices, but it can also help us modernize how we train our officers. We'll look at areas like use of force, de-escalation training, and implicit bias training.
Last week, the Black Legislative Caucus called for body and dash cameras for police agencies statewide. Dr. Woody Myers, Holcomb's Democratic opponent in November, tweeted in response saying, quote, "My opponent, as usual, offers much too little and much too late," end quote. Myers is the first black major party nominee for Indiana governor. Along with the governor's initiative, a local organization is working to address inequities and create more opportunities for Black business owners. Tayana Thompson started Black-Owned Midwest. The group, which has about 3,400 members, connects Black business owners with one another. It also supports the Buy Black movement, an initiative that encourages people to support Black and minority-owned businesses.
Black-Owned Midwest has been a great, I guess, kind of connector between a local community growth spot and the local community surrounding.
Buying Black is in right now just because of the movement, and I found that a lot of people, no matter what skin tone you are in, they want to support Black businesses.
Black-Owned Midwest plans to launch a week of fundraising next month. The goal is to raise money to buy a property for a learning hub. You can learn more about this on our website right now by visiting WRTV.com. At 4:37 today, city leaders will discuss plans to help downtown Indianapolis rebound as the pandemic continues here. Mayor Joe Hogsett and the president of Downtown Indy Inc. will announce city funding for those initiatives that have been developed by Downtown Recovery Committee. Officials say this dedicated funding is part of a comprehensive plan to address the immediate economic situation, public health, and public safety challenges that are facing downtown Indy. The details will be announced at 11 a.m. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in our state. 850 more Hoosiers have tested positive. That brings the total number of infections to 81,847. The overall positivity rate has dropped a little bit to 8.8%, and the 7-day positivity rate has also dropped to 7.8%. 28 additional deaths were also reported. That's the highest daily reported increase since June 6th. A total of 2,954 people in our state have lost their lives to the coronavirus. Well, Zionsville is going to the dogs, or at least creating a space where dogs and their owners can have some fun together. The mayor and parks board announced plans today for the city's first dog park, which will be located at Heritage Trail Park in Zionsville. It will be approximately 3.5 acres and have separate areas for large and small dogs. As part of future plans for Heritage Trail Park, additional parking will be added as well as a playground for the older kids. It's hoped to be ready by the end of the year. The U.S. Postal Service is pausing changes that have slowed mail delivery. Just after the break, we'll have the details about the about face, and the agency finds itself in the middle of this political drama. And the blue and gold have a little bit of work to do after a tough first-round loss of Game 1 of the playoffs. We'll have a recap coming up next. Todd.
And Lauren, what a comfortable morning we have across central Indiana with temperatures that are in the 50s in most locations and right at 60 degrees in Indianapolis and Greenwood. The humidity is low. It's just the start of what's going to be an absolutely wonderful Wednesday forecast. We'll talk all about it coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:42. Here is a live look at I-70 near the Sam Jones Expressway. This is on the west side, and traffic is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. Right now, taking a look around the metro area, I'm not monitoring any major slowdowns, so if you are heading out to work early this morning, it should be a pretty smooth morning drive. So the U.S. Postal Service is caught in the middle of a political drama. It's accused of making changes that could impact mail-in voting during the pandemic. Now the agency is backing off on some controversial changes. John Lawrence has the details.
The U.S. Postal Service pausing changes that have slowed mail delivery, such as removing sorting machines and cutting overtime. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy says they'll be put on hold until after the 2020 election.
Not good enough. Not even close. And so I will not rest, and we will not stop in our legal efforts. This case is going forward.
Numerous states say they are planning to file federal lawsuits aimed at reversing the recent changes. DeJoy, a supporter and ally of the president, says he was trying to boost the struggling Postal Service's bottom line.
The post office is running as well as it has in a long time.
But some Democratic leaders accuse the USPS of undermining mail-in voting, which President Trump has frequently blasted.
The Democrats want to make it a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's really about a correct vote.
In addition to concerns about voting by mail, some say the operational changes have hindered mail delivery.
The United States Postal Service should not be politicized. People rely on it for medication, for important documents.
50% of the world's mail is sent through this institution, the U.S. Postal Service, and we are getting our post slowed down because of things that are going on because of politics.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, Boeing is cutting more jobs than previously planned. The company's been hit really hard by hundreds of canceled orders as airlines struggle with a plunge in demand for flying during this pandemic. Boeing told its employees in a memo on Monday that it's adding a second round of buyout offers. In April, the company said it would cut about 16,000 positions through a combination of buyouts, natural attrition, and involuntary layoffs. More details on the voluntary layoffs are expected to be released next week. So before you start thinking ahead to pumpkin spice season, Starbucks wants you to cheers to the end of summer. The coffee company is adding 2 new tropical green drinks to the menu permanently. This after what they called a successful launch in Canada earlier this summer. The Kiwi Starfruit Starbucks Refreshers beverage combines starfruit flavored juice with real pieces of kiwi handshaken with ice. It's under 100 calories for a 16-ounce drink. The Star drink is with the same beverage with coconut milk. This one is under 200 calories for the same size. All right, Todd, and as we are thinking summer with that story, what's the weather going to be like outside today?
You know, it's going to be very summer-like for us here across the area. A good day to get out on the patio and maybe sip a refreshing beverage, or maybe just go for a walk or a bike ride through the neighborhood, because we'll have sunshine, we'll have low humidity, and temperatures that'll be very, very comfortable. A live look outside right now shows the city's skyline in all its splendor as you look live from the pagoda at IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis. And with the crystal clear skies, the skyline looks really, really nice here this morning with the bright lights. You can even pick out the War Memorial there on the left-hand side of your screen, all lit up on this Wednesday morning. Temperatures right now are sitting in the 50s in most locations, a couple 60s out there, including Indianapolis. 58 right now in Greencastle, 55 is the current temperature up in Peru, and 56 over in Richmond. And you notice a few specks of blue on the map, especially right under the WRTV at the top of your screen there. Northwest Indiana has some temperatures that are getting very close to the upper 40s right now. So it's a cool but very pleasant morning. Radar is completely quiet for us. The rain from yesterday is long gone. We got into that sunshine yesterday afternoon, and that opened the door for a great evening forecast. And that nice weather yesterday evening is basically what we're going to have here throughout the course of the day today. So this morning, here's your temperature trend over the next 6 hours for you, hour by hour. Temperatures in the city will probably drop another couple degrees here into the upper 50s, and then once the sun comes up right around 7 o'clock here this morning, we'll start to see our temperatures warm, and by 10 a.m. we should be up to 67 degrees. And then as we work our way throughout the afternoon hours, skies will be sunny and highs will be topping off in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees this evening. Absolutely terrific. Sunset is at 8:35 tonight, and it's near perfect conditions with a temperature of 71 degrees by 9 p.m. And then just like this morning, low temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be in the 50s all across the area. So as we go throughout the course of the morning hours tomorrow, we'll warm very quickly, just like today. In fact, Thursday's very, very similar to today. The only difference is I think maybe tomorrow we could be a degree or two warmer in the afternoon hours. And then by the time we get to Friday, back up to 84 degrees. And then as we work our way into the weekend, mid-80s, still just a chance of a spot storm in the afternoon hours on race day on Sunday. And then summer, it's not going away, Lauren, despite these more cooler temperatures this morning in the mid to upper 80s as we get into Monday and Tuesday.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at your commute right now through the downtown area. This is a live picture from NDOT on I-65, a view near St. Clair Street. This is between the north and south splits. You can see traffic is moving along just fine right now. No major delays to slow you down, but of course we'll continue to keep you updated. So the NBA playoffs are getting underway 4 months later than originally scheduled. The Pacers ended the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, but there's no real home court advantage down in the bubble. Our Brad Brown shows us how the Miami Heat took an early series lead.
Familiar foes in the first round of the playoffs. The teams just played each other twice last week. Tuesday's Game 1 got off to a less than ideal start for the Pacers. Just 8.5 minutes in, Victor Oladipo got poked in the eye going for a rebound. Turned out to be a pretty significant scratch, and Oladipo would have to leave the game. He did not return. The offense would be there early on, though. T.J. Warren scored 9 of his team best 22 points in the opening quarter. Pacers scored 33 in the first, opened an 8-point lead. Malcolm Brogdon did what he could in Vic's absence, a dunk to close out the first half. He also scored 22, but Miami would turn in a 4-point lead at halftime. In the third, a run by the Heat would put them up by 10. Bam Adebayo with some aggressive play all afternoon. He scored 17 for Miami. Pacers cut it to 1 at the end of the third. T.J. McConnell pulls up and hits 81-80 at that quarter break, but Miami dominated the final frame. Goran Dragic hit for 13 points in a 5-minute stretch, and Jimmy Butler would lead all scorers for the Heat with 28 points. 113-101 when it was finished. It's Miami getting the 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series.
The dynamics change. That's been one of our strengths all season, is we haven't had everybody, every guy throughout the, down the stretch. So, usually we've been able to overcome it, but that's a really good team on the other side. So, now we got to adjust. We know what we're dealing with or without Vic. We got to be able to adjust and play basketball. They picked up their intensity the second half, starting with the third quarter. I thought we did a better job of taking care of the ball, but the fourth quarter we started to turn the ball over more in that they executed going down the stretch.
They capitalized on our mistakes late in the game, and they was hitting shots. We had a couple of defensive mistakes, and they made us pay.
After the game, the Pacers said Oladipo visited the league's clinic on site. His eye injury is not expected to be serious. He's officially listed as day-to-day for now. The teams will play every other day in the first round. Game 2 coming up on Thursday will be an early tip at 1 p.m. Game 3 Saturday, Game 4 next Monday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We are monitoring your Wednesday morning drive, and here's a live look at your commute on the southeast side, I-465 and I-74. Lots of headlights moving across your screen. Traffic already picking up just a little bit on that side of town, but everything's traveling up to speed. So, are you a beer lover? Do you enjoy creating memes? So if you answered yes to both of those questions, Anheuser-Busch may have just the job for you. The company wants to hire a CMO, or Chief Meme Officer, for its Bud Light Seltzer. The Bud Light Seltzer is a low-calorie beverage that launched in January. The job consists of creating 10 viral memes, sharing them on social media. Anyone 21 or older can apply. Now, the lucky applicant that snags this job will get $5,000 a month for 3 months for creating memes about the Bud Light Seltzer. Sounds like a pretty sweet gig. Todd, I know you like beer. I know you're a funny guy. Don't leave me, though, because we need you to do your job here.
I think you're pretty safe, Lauren. I've had those seltzers, but they're not my absolute favorite.
Cup of tea. That's okay.
I'm here for you.
Good. We need
you. Today, tell you what. If you want a seltzer or any other beverage, it would be a good day for it to sit on your patio outside and enjoy not only the sunshine from start to finish today, but also the very, very comfortable temperatures. Think yesterday evening, that's what you'll have throughout the entire day today. It's a little on the cool side here this morning with temperatures that are in the 50s in most locations, still holding on to 60 degrees in Indianapolis, but we'll warm pretty quickly once the sun comes up to 79. And then you do notice there's a pretty steady warming trend in your 7-day planning forecast. We're back to 84 on Friday, mid 80s for the weekend, and then mid to upper 80s as we head into next week. So despite the cooler temperatures both today and tomorrow morning, summer not going away. It's back in full force here starting this weekend. We'll talk more about your forecast, have your latest news headlines as well coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.